So I got some Baldur's Gate 3 news for you all today. Larian Studios released a hotfix. And I usually don't cover hotfixes because they're usually really not that exciting to talk about. It's usually just crashes and bug fixes and things of that nature. But this one actually has a couple things in it that I think some of you guys would like to know. And then after we talk about the hotfix and the important parts of that, we're going to talk about a tweet that Sven, the CEO of Larian Studios, tweeted out the other day that talks about the future of Larian Studios. If you want to jump to that, I will leave chapter markers below. So hotfix number 16 is now live. Let me just quickly preface by saying this is the quickest video I've ever recorded on this channel. I got to get going here really soon. I apologize for any quality drops that any of you may notice, but whatever, I'm wasting your guys' time right now. Okay, hello everyone, happy new year. We're kicking off 2024 with a sizable hotfix handling multiple bugs, issues, and blockers. Have your party members been hoarding trinkets? Did you accidentally send Minthara's loot to your camp supplies, thinking nobody could possibly need a loot in this day and age? In this hotfix, you'll now be able to access certain quest-related items on the spot, even if they're not held by your current party. How's that for Magic Pockets? This is already like, that's a pretty important change right there, because when I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, I'm always wondering if I left a quest item back at camp because I sent it there earlier to save up some inventory space. Now we have the Magic Pockets going all the way back to camp, and I think this is a nice quality of life improvement. And Larian's still keeping it somewhat realistic and immersive by only limiting these special magical camp pockets to work for certain quest-related items. Mac players, we're currently restructuring to ensure that future updates on Mac will arrive alongside their PC versions. I know some of you Mac players are probably like, about time. It'll take a bit of time, but once finished, there shouldn't be delays anymore. For the time being, we expect a delay for updates of a maximum of 2 weeks. We're sorry for the inconvenience and understand this is frustrating. Thank you for your patience. You know, a lot of companies don't release their games on Mac because it's a lot more complicated than one may think. And I've actually read a few articles on this. Many times it actually isn't even worth the company releasing their game on Mac. So the fact that Larian did release this game on Mac, I think is a wonderful thing. And the fact that they're addressing that it's been frustrating to be a Mac player when compared to being a PC player, I think is a good thing. With that said, it's understandable that Mac players may be frustrated because you guys are still paying customers, but at least Larian is addressing this publicly, and they're openly, you know, saying that they're sorry for it. So, all right, so moving on. Now we have the highlight section, and of course we have the spoilers blocked out right here. I'll do the spoilers after I do the non-spoiler content. The cross-save functionality will no longer sync modded saves, as they cannot be accessed by console players. Added categories to the waypoints list, grouping waypoints by location. That's actually a nice little quality of life update right there, as well as it can be a little bit confusing sometimes when you have that gigantic list and you haven't necessarily memorized where everything is and what location everything is in. That's a nice little update. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, you'll now be able to access certain quest related items on the spot, even if they're currently in the camp chest or in the inventory of a companion who is waiting at camp. And I'll go over the spoilers here momentarily, but first let me do the non-spoilers. Fix several issues with low resolution textures appearing after extended playtimes. Fixed a visual bug where certain doors would reappear briefly when destroyed. Fixed Gal's dialogue ending abruptly when asking him for a kiss. Enjoy the moment. And that's it for the highlight section, except we still have to talk about the spoilers, which I'm going to go over here momentarily. But first, let me just go over a couple below this. This is just a hotfix, so we don't need to go over everything. Most things in this hotfix are highly situational, so it would probably bore the hell out of most of you guys. But a couple that stand out. NPCs on the floor below you can no longer see you looting corpses up there. Remember this being really frustrating, especially in Act 3. The firecracker shop, I remember that happening all the time, so that's a nice improvement. When handing back stackable stolen items, such as healing potions, you'll no longer lose all of them, but only the number you stole. So, of course, that's always good, because that was also quite annoying. Fixed an issue preventing some players from advancing into Act 3, looping them back to Act 2. Then we go down here, we have performance and optimization, user interface improvements, level design improvements, art improvements, animation improvements, sound improvements, and then writing. So now we're going to go ahead and talk spoilers. Let's start with the writing section, then we'll go back to the highlights. So Will is now appropriately celebratory. Giving you guys a second to pull ahead. If you don't want the spoilers, just pull to the next chapter marker. We still have that discussion to talk about what Sven said in his tweet. Celebratory upon the Netherbrain's defeat. Added text to the tooltip for Cazador's Misty Escape ability on Tactician mode. Fixed Garangoth Thorm's Sublimation ability tooltip incorrectly stating that it should kill the target instantly. Will now has a line during the ending scene when realizing the tadpoles are gone. Added an extra dialogue option when talking to Shadowheart in the epilogue to fix a path that only gave you one choice, and fixed the Wrathful Spirits condition saying the affected entity is immune to all damage instead of vulnerable to all damage. Okay, going up to the highlights section, the spoilers, added a couple of potions of animal speaking to the epilogue. Karlach will now get her scene in Avernus, regardless of whether she's an avatar or a companion. Will now follow Karlach to Avernus correctly. Fix the hide helmet option, resetting for companions after saving and loading. I didn't mention that one earlier. Cazador now has 3 variations of his legendary action, depending on how many ritual charges he has. The more charges he has, the more dangerous his vampiric swarm is. And that's going to be it for the hotfix. I think we went over all of the big stuff. Let's move over to a tweet that the owner and creative director of Larian Studios tweeted out, I think yesterday. And that is, of course, Sven Vinka. First, though, really quickly, let me just give you a quick update for you Xbox users. Larian tweeted out, Microsoft have identified the cause of the saving bug on Xbox and will be issuing a firmware update to fix it. You'll be able to update your console manually on the 16th of January, or wait a week longer for the update to roll out globally. Although we haven't been able to independently verify this fix, we're optimistic that Microsoft have gotten to the bottom of it. So I know a lot of Xbox players have been running into some issues, so there's a little bit of an update for you. Back to Sven's tweet. Been a great morning after 4 months of rewriting and abandoning ideas and then revisiting them. Finally figured out what Act 1 on this thing I've been working on needs to be. Quote me when it's revealed to see how much of today's draft survives. I suspect a lot. So this is pretty significant progress on whatever project Larian is working on right here. Obviously, the initial ideas oftentimes don't make it to the final draft, but it seems like Sven has been brainstorming probably with the team quite a lot, throwing things out, and they finally arrived at something that he thinks is pretty damn good. He suspects a lot of it will remain. So this is really exciting. We have no idea what this project is going to be. He kind of touches on we're probably not going to know anytime in the near future. This also tells us that Larian's next project is also going to be in acts, like Baldur's Gate and also their Divinity series. So probably a beginning, middle, and end. Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. We'll have to find out. One thing I learned over the years is that work done on abandoned drafts is never wasted, even if you think the drafts are shite. More than often, you'll find you can recycle your work once you find the right story for it. This type of work can be really frustrating when you're stuck, but the important bit is to never give up and remain self-critical, even if the situation looks hopeless. Creative work is the exploration of a vast search space, and it can take time to find the right path. Very, very true. For all of you creative folks in the audience, you guys would completely understand that. At least that's what I tell myself when I feel like a failure after people have been nagging at me for months. Where's the effing narrative, Sven? That said, I haven't shared it with anyone yet, so it may... Oh, so I guess he hasn't really shared it with the team. Interesting. So Larian Studios, a lot of devs there also have yet to find out. That's interesting. I think it's really cool, the level of control and input that Sven has over his games. With other companies, you of course have your CEOs and owners that, of course, they have, a lot of control and input, but it's more so disconnected input, and that's how it always comes across. With Sven, he's part of the foundational creative design of his projects, and he's clearly passionate about that, and it's really cool to have someone like that at the helm of a company that we've all, especially now, come to love so much. So very excited for whatever he's working on. So I haven't shared it with anyone yet, so it may be they all think it's bad, and then I'll just kill this thread, go sit in a corner with my dog and pretend none of this happened, and press Control Enter and start all over again. But I think I really like this one. Also, it's not what you think. This is not a teaser for an announcement. Just, I am genuinely excited about where this is going and wanted to share some of my excitement. It'll be quite some time before we talk about this, so it'll be nice to get some news this year, 2024, on Larian's next project. But as of now, I just wouldn't even plan on it. It could happen, but maybe an announcement trailer will come in 2025, possibly 2024. I think Larian should do like some cool cinematic trailer like they did with BG3 that just leaves us all in so much mystery. But who knows when it's going to actually be. Obviously, it's not any time in the near future. And just to put, game development in perspective, even though Larian's next game will probably take less time than Baldur's Gate 3 did, we have a comment here that says Game of the Year 2029, and then Sven responds, I was going to say very funny, but then I counted on my fingers. So good game development, of course, usually takes a lot of time, but hopefully we get like a nice lead up period where I can dedicate my channel to Larian's next game and we can all just lose ourselves in the speculation and excitement. And that's going to be it for that tweet. You know, not really that much to talk about, just you could speculate a lot off of that. Not really that important, but I think a lot of you guys probably will enjoy hearing, you know, Sven talk about his next project. So thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know what scene I'm going to right now, but I got to get out of here. Let's go to the tavern. Yeah. Come on in. Everybody grab a drink. Skål. And I'll catch you all on the next one.